Hi, I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Welcome to the Iron Bowl Hour.
Or as we like to call it, the show that's thinking of replacing us with Clint Mosley. Is that what that says? Is that right?
Yeah.
We're being replaced?
Possibly.
On tonight's show.
Reed, if there are two things I don't like, it's low geography scores and change. Give me my Matlock and my SEC just the way they are.
Do you think that the mustache played a big role in
The
what
power
happened?
of the stash is highly underrated, man.
It's insane.
From atop Red Mountain at Vulcan Park and Museum, it's the Iron Bowl Hour.
Reed, it is time for a very chilly and very windy edition of Agree to Disagree.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and predict that one of us will not survive this conversation.
No, I cannot feel my fingers.
If you die first, I'm going to eat you.
Okay, agreed.
After two surprising wins in the month of October, Auburn is 3-1 in SEC play with an upcoming game against LSU. There are some questions on the offensive side of the ball, but the defense has been steadily improving, which gives many Auburn fans hope that it is not just a rebuilding year. How will Auburn finish out the remainder of their schedule? I think viewers know that I have been a little bit hard on Auburn at times this season, but I'm going to go ahead.
At least a little bit.
I'm going to go ahead and surprise some people and make a pretty optimistic prediction for the rest of Auburn's season.
Okay.
I see them getting a big win against Samford,
Sure.
and that's going to
Naturally.
they'll lose the other games left on their schedule, but they will win that game against Samford. I'm not saying it's going to be a runaway. It'll be close, maybe take an onside kick, something like that at the end of the game. But I feel like they'll be able to squeak out a win there.
This is your optimistic view for Auburn?
Yeah, the win, right?
Right.
So
To
win
win
is
that
good. Win's a win.
Okay, well,
Win's
this
a
one
win.
won't be hard to disagree with you on.
Yeah.
I feel like Auburn can easily win 3 of their remaining games, and I think they possibly could pull out an upset against LSU or Alabama. Reed, LSU is going into
Are
this.
we still talking about the football season? Are you talking about?
Yeah, no, football, Auburn football. I think this week against LSU, I already felt like they were going to keep this game close, and now LSU going into this without 2 of their star players, I think actually gives Auburn a decent chance at this game.
Don't get me wrong, that makes a difference, right?
Right.
Before LSU suspended these players, I thought they were going to beat Auburn in Baton Rouge by 100 points, right? But let me throw some more optimism on the table here.
Okay.
Now those 2 players have been suspended, one on the offense, one on the defense.
Correct.
They only win by 65. So Auburn, it's a little closer. Yeah.
65.
Maybe want to lay your money down. I don't know what the line is on that. I guess the line's probably 80, something like that, maybe.
Possibly,
Yeah.
maybe so, I'm not sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I honestly do think Auburn could pull this off. I think they have no problem with Ole Miss, obviously no problem with Samford, Georgia. I think they can win that game easily. You never know with the Iron Bowl.
Okay,
you never know. Look
okay,
at 2009.
But you're telling me you don't think the Auburn players are going to be a little bit intimidated by Georgia? Now, not by the players. I'm talking about by Todd Grantham. They're going to be worried that guy's going to yell at them, maybe try to give them some sort of "you're going to die" signal, something like that. Throughout it makes me nervous just watching the guy.
They can be frightened by some of the signs he may give them, but I think overall that's not going to affect the game. I think Auburn will beat Georgia.
Maybe. So a lot of guests on our show don't know who James Franklin is. Todd Grantham does.
Yeah, he does.
He likes to scream at him.
For sure. Reed, I have to respectfully disagree
So
with
wait,
you on this.
how many games will Auburn win?
3 of the next 5. That's what I think. At least, possibly 4, Reed. Possibly 4.
We'll agree they'll win the Samford game.
It's cold. It's so cold.
It's a little chilly.
Trent Richardson has rushed for over 100 yards 6 games in a row and has better numbers so far than Mark Ingram did in 2009 when he won the Heisman. Did the 183-yard rushing performance and 76-yard run against Ole Miss move him to the top of the Heisman ballot? Reed, I think just the fact that ESPN has shown that 76-yard run 1,000 times since the game shows us, yes, it's moved him up to the top of the race. Everybody's talking about it, I promise you. It was that one step, the dead leg stop that he did, that's going to stick in everybody's head.
Trent Richardson is a fantastic running back.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
And that run looks really good.
Really good. It was really good.
Listen, Will, after we get finished taping this segment, if you want to, we'll
get
go
some
over
hot
there.
chocolate.
We'll maybe get some hot chocolate. It's freezing today. But also, we'll go over there in the field part of the grassy area over there next to Vulcan, and I'll get a football, and I will show you how I can do the exact same thing that Trent Richardson can do. Right. Now you'll notice there are no football players trying to tackle me over there.
A lot like playing Ole Miss.
Makes it the exact same as what Trent Richardson did. That's my whole point. Listen, it's nice to have a good run against Ole Miss, but who couldn't have a nice run against Ole Miss?
Right.
Listen, he's going to have to do what Cam Newton did last year, right? Which is to have some sort of breakout performance and some fancy run like that against a real football team like LSU on November 5th. In order to make a real statement.
Yeah, look, Reed, we do a lot of joking around here, but let's not forget, Ole Miss is an SEC team. Granted, they're not a great SEC team this year, but they're still an SEC team. The fact that he had that kind of run against an SEC team and made that kind of move that made an SEC defenseman look foolish.
Yeah,
I mean, he made the guy look foolish.
Yeah, but that kid's a true freshman, right? I mean, he already missed it. That kid missed 2 tackles on the same play. He missed him once behind the line of scrimmage, then chased him down just to miss another tackle, right? So listen, Once again, Trent Richardson is fantastic, but let's not forget there's some pretty stout competition for the Heisman Trophy this year, right? You got Andrew Luck.
Correct.
You got Russell Wilson.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So you got, and I would say you got that kid who's a...
the Baylor kid.
Yeah, what's his name? It's
R2D2.
R2D2, that's
R2D2.
right. But here's the problem with R2D2 the third.
Okay.
He's not playing in a major conference, right? He's playing at Baylor, so that's that's the Big 12. That's not a major conference even, right? So
no, Wilson and Luck, absolutely. Those guys have been in front. Right now they're behind Trent Richardson, though.
Okay. So then I'm sorry, you had that backwards then. Richardson is behind them until he does something good against a real football team.
We'll see when they show up in New York.
Okay. Missouri is close to joining the SEC to become the 14th member. Geographically, this would put them in the West and move Auburn to the East. Would the possibility of Alabama and Auburn playing twice during the season diminish or help the rivalry? Well, this is a good thing. There's no doubt about it. There's no such thing as too much of a good thing, and when Auburn and Alabama play, that's a good thing. We've named our whole show after that occurrence, right? The Iron Bowl hour.
Right.
So it would be good to have 2 games. And listen, let's not forget, it's not just 2 games every season, right? This is, if there is to be a second game, then gosh, it would be an important one. It would be Auburn and Alabama facing off for the conference championship. That's a good thing.
Here's the thing, Reed. It's not a good thing. It's already an important game. It's the Iron Bowl, Reed. It's important because you get one shot at it. You get one chance. And if you had 2 chances, well, it's like, well, it's okay. We lost. Maybe we'll get them again here in a couple of weeks. I'm telling you, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing.
Listen.
One shot, Reed. It's the Iron Bowl. 365 days for this one shot.
Okay, there's never going to be a time when players are going to be like, oh, we don't care if we win the Iron Bowl. We'll get them maybe next. I mean, listen, it's only going to be once in a blue moon that they would have a chance then to be their conference or their division leaders and meet up again. So this is not going to be an every year sort of occurrence, right? I know some fans would like to think that these teams would always be in the SEC championship game, but not necessarily, right? So
I don't think Auburn fans would mind being in the Eastern Division, Reed. It's not the strongest division in the SEC. We know that. But I think if you mess with something that's such a good thing, which is the rivalry and the way it's all set up now, I think if you start messing with that, it's not a good thing.
Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants. Here's my question for you then. If Missouri comes into the SEC, which many
I don't
people
like that
speculate,
either.
okay, many people suspect that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Then where do you put them? How do you fix this then?
I don't know. You know, there's the option of not the option, but the discussion of the North and South, stuff like that.
No, listen, that makes people think about the Civil War. Nobody likes to go there, right? That's just hurt feelings all around. So we need to avoid that at all costs. So then the question is, where does Missouri go? Now, some people talked about putting Missouri in the East, which is just asinine. It's just ridiculous. Nothing could be more ridiculous than saying, hey, you westernmost team in the conference, right? You go over and play, I guess maybe Texas A&M, but here's the point. You go play all these schools, and that's ridiculous, right? That would just, think about what that would do to geography scores in this country, which are already so low, right? So we don't need to do anything to confuse students.
All right, then here's the answer. Forget Missouri. We don't need Missouri. Nobody wants Missouri. Let's get Florida State. They're already over there in the East.
Well, but that's not going to happen.
That's my solution.
Listen, now that's people tried that before. Florida State's not coming into the conference. Some of this may be a mood issue because I understand that the SEC is probably going to get to a point where they're going to have 14 teams and split it not into 2 divisions, but just 14 divisions where every team is its own division, right?
Gotcha.
So, and I think that'll fix a lot of the problems.
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as bringing Missouri into the SEC.
And putting them in the East, certainly.
Reed, if there are 2 things I don't like, it's low geography scores and change. Give me my Matlock and my SEC just the way they are.
Okay.
Yeah. Up next, we're going to go to a very cold top of Vulcan with Reggie Torbor. Back after this. Reed, it's time for a very cold edition of Rapid Fire Questions with Reggie Torbor. Now, before we start, Reggie, as a member of the Buffalo Bills, you're kind of used to this weather, huh?
Yeah, very used to it. This is, very moderate weather.
Right, you're not freaking out like we are.
Not freaking out at all.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. What's more uncomfortable, light dental surgery or watching Auburn play this year?
Light dental surgery, yeah.
What's the toughest stadium to play a road game in the SEC?
LSU.
What's the easiest stadium to play a road game in the SEC?
Mississippi State.
Yeah. Better statue, Vulcan or the Nick Saban statue?
Vulcan.
Do you know who James Franklin is?
Never heard of him.
Okay. Yeah. Should Boise State be allowed to have blue turf?
Yeah, if you can't beat them, you can't blame it on the turf.
All right. Should Ole Miss be allowed to have a football team?
No.
Okay.
How many fingers does Tommy Tuberville have?
8. Count thumbs.
And we don't.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Yeah.
Should there be a playoff in college football?
Yes.
Okay. What word would you use to describe Harvey Updike?
Idiot.
Which is more fun, playing college ball or playing in the NFL?
College ball is more fun.
Okay, and Reggie, what's the secret ingredient to your shrimp etouffee dish?
The shrimp.
Wow.
Shrimp.
Well, now everybody knows.
The secret is that it's not secret. All right, what do LSU fans smell like?
Alcohol.
Okay,
Nice.
good.
All right, let's see if we can make it through this one to the elevator.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's do it.
All right, former Auburn Tiger, New York Giant, Miami Dolphin, current Buffalo Bill, Reggie Torbor. Reggie, having grown up in Baton Rouge, were you an LSU fan?
Actually, I wasn't.
Who'd you root for?
La Monroe?
No, not Monroe.
Now
there's
he roots for La Monroe.
Southern University is a small, HBSC. LSU wasn't very good until I got a little older.
You didn't go to games? You go to LSU games growing up right there in your town?
I lived 10 minutes away. The first LSU game I ever went to was I was on a recruiting visit.
Really?
Yeah. I was
Isn't
a
that
senior.
something?
Yeah.
It isn't. Did they recruit you pretty heavily?
Yeah. I started going like my sophomore year, 10th grade year in high school.
Now, when did they start making payments to you to try to get them to come? That's a little later in the process, I guess.
Yeah, that was down the road.
There you go.
That was down the road.
Now, my understanding is that as a high school football player, you were a running back, is that right? But of course, now you're a defensive specialist, you're a linebacker, and tell us about how did you make that changeover?
Yeah, well, I was just versatile,
And confident. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just something I could do, when in high school, it's probably 60% of those kids shouldn't even be out there, and the biggest, fastest kid can do whatever he wants,
Was it your college coaches that suggested the change to defense?
Yeah. Actually, I think they lied to me the whole time. I think they were pretty much going to do it the whole time.
Reeling you in.
Yeah, I only ran the ball at Auburn. I ran the ball one time at practice. One time. It's like
and they just blew the whistle and said, "Come on, we're done with this."
Yeah, it was that, and they told me to go see Joe Witt. That was the end of that. So.
But they recruited you as a running back. All the schools
as a running back. Yeah, but that's the colleges do it. They tell those young kids what they want to hear. And I'm older now, but I was seeing stars back then. So.
Now remind people. So your last year at Auburn was which season?
2003.
Okay, so you just missed the one where they won all of the football games. Was that sort of like Pete Best being kicked out of the Beatles right before they make it really, really big?
Yeah. It was kind of bittersweet, because we knew the year before was our year. We were preseason #1, and we just got full of ourselves, man. And we were reading the papers and wasn't working as hard. And it's real easy to start thinking NFL, and everyone's patting you on your back around campus, and we just.
And then you play USC.
Yeah. And drop the ball. And they really beat us. I mean, we didn't score a touchdown. We didn't score a point until the third game of the year.
So also while you were at Auburn, even though you left right before the season where they went undefeated in 2004, you did play under Gene Chizik, correct? Who is now, of course, the head coach. Tell us, what's your impression of him as a coach? Do you think did you know from the very get-go that was a good hire for Auburn?
Love him as a coach.
All right, you like him personally, but do you like the jackets he wears on the sideline during games?
I think you got to talk to Under Armour about that, man. They're getting a little out of hand with some of those designs.
Okay. So when he was hired, coming off of a 5-19 record at Iowa State, you felt confident in the job he could do at Auburn.
Yeah, no doubt.
So why did he have a 5-19 record at Iowa State?
Hey, man, sometimes the players, they actually have to go out and play. A lot of people don't realize that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the game.
That's a big part of the game.
The players playing,
Catching the ball and stuff.
Yeah. You could coach them all they want. They can't play, they can't play.
So people who say that last year that wasn't Gene Chizik, that was Cam Newton, or that was even Gus Malzahn that made that happen, what do you say to people like that who discredit Gene Chizik as the head coach last year winning that national championship?
It's if you think it's that easy to win a national championship, just get a great player. I could rattle off names of great players who didn't win national championships.
Reggie, now let's talk about Auburn this year. Sitting at 5-2 now, is that better than you expected at this point?
It is better. Because my concern wasn't, everyone knows Cam Newton was a great player, but my concern was the linemen. When you lose offensive and defensive linemen, it's hard to win football games.
Like almost all of the linemen.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take Lyman away and put Cam Newton back there, he has a hard time.
What's going through the mind of Barrett Trotter this week? You as a player, you've I'm sure been through this situation. He's the starter, he won the starting job, and now halfway through the season, he's being replaced. What's a guy like that thinking at this point?
Right. Well, I've been in a situation where I've been pulled before, you know, and it's tough, you know, because you work so hard, you know, and sometimes things just for whatever reason you can prepare, and it's you know, not performing is not directly related to not, you know, working hard. You know, people think, you know, he's you know, doesn't do this, but sometimes it just doesn't happen for you.
Early in the season, he played relatively well when he had his mustache. And it gets shaved. Next thing you know, he's not very good at football. Do you think that the mustache played a big role in what happened?
The power of the stash is highly underrated, man.
It's insane.
I just haven't been the same. Mine used to be a lot longer. It used to curl up.
That was a good look for you, Rich. That was a good look.
And, you know, that's why I'm on IR right now instead of playing. I cut my stash.
I remember that picture of you with the long mustache like this, tying someone up to a railroad track.
The Baron.
It was a good look.
They call me the Baron.
I mean, you have a big stash like that, and you win a Super Bowl, right?
That's all.
You don't have a stash, injured reserve.
Injured reserve.
Yeah.
Let this be a lesson to you all.
Seriously, guys, learn if you want to make it. Stash.
Yeah, I need the curly one. Let's talk a little bit about the team across the state, Alabama. Many people are talking about this as maybe the best defense that has ever existed. You know defenses. What do you make of this Alabama defense this year?
They are very good. They are very good up front. If you have a defensive line, you know, and your linebackers are able to run, and they probably have one of the best linebackers. You know, Hightower's very good linebacker, moves side to side very well. The sky's the limit.
I personally am becoming bored with Alabama this year, and that's a compliment to Alabama. It's just like they're just blowing everybody out of the water. So can we just collectively ask Alabama to please just make a game every now and then?
I know what Will means. It can be a little boring to watch Alabama. They almost have become like the Tiger Woods of college football, which begs the question, are they having affairs with other football teams,
Right.
and which teams would those be?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But that's something we need to find out. But
Maybe the NCAA should look into that.
yeah, but it wasn't the fairs, it was the getting caught.
That's an interesting theory, right?
Yeah.
Now, growing up in Louisiana, did you have any kind of grasp on the rivalry that is Alabama and Auburn? Did you realize the intensity of it?
I had no idea.
Did you even know it really existed?
I had no idea. The first year we played them, I mean, they made this huge deal about it, you know, and I was just like, just another game, you know?
Yeah.
And that year, you know, we beat them. You know, that's the first year we played down there. We beat them 9-0. You know, it was terrible weather. Well, the next year, they beat the crap out of us at home. And that's when I realized they literally jump out of trees and real roll tide. And I don't want to say I was in New York, and someone was like, you know, roll tide. You know, it's like, when the hell have you been for a year and a half? And I haven't seen all these people, you know, and they worry the hell out of you for a year, you know. So that alone just gets on my nerves and makes me have hated them ever since. I literally has hated them. Yeah.
Now, Reggie, we were talking about the rivalry between Auburn and Alabama and what that's like as a player when you are in college. But of course, now as an NFL player, there are some strange alliances that get formed when, you know, players are recruited to teams in the NFL. I understand this past year as a Buffalo Bill, you had to play with both Marcel Darius and Marcel Darius on the same team with you. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
How does that go in the locker room?
Yeah, he actually is two men. He's a very big man.
That's why the two names.
He has two names, yeah. It's crazy because, like, I've never met the guy. You know, but as soon as I laid eyes on him, he comes, you know, roll tide. You know, first thing you say is
jumping out behind a tree.
Yeah, out behind a tree, you know. But it's still that passion, that competition with it, you know, even though we can't go back and play, you know, it's just smiles now, you know.
You can joke around.
Go from hate, to a little smile, but still don't like him a lot, you know. And it just happens, I mean, even in the huddle, you know, I think we were in practice one day, you know, and he was like, you know, I called a play, you know, break the huddle. You know, he's like, hey, I'm going to show you what it would have been like if you would have played at Alabama. You know, just line up behind me, I'll take care of everything.
He didn't understand recruiting. He's still trying to do it.
Yeah. That's what happened at Bama, you know. Got paid at the Bills, got paid at Bama, you know. That's what happens.
There you go.
Torbor.
So looking ahead to this year's Iron Bowl, I have gone ahead and said, stated the obvious that Auburn has absolutely no chance to win that football game. I assume you agree with me, and just talk a little bit about that. How badly will Auburn lose the Iron Bowl this year?
I wouldn't say no chance. It's
Slim
not
to none,
it's not
maybe?
50-50.
Right.
Yeah, but my Auburn blood woman let me say no chance.
It's like 1 to 99, something like that.
I think, I think we would have to play perfect, and they would have to make some mistakes. They're a good football team. They look good, but
There's no coming back from 24 down this year.
no, I don't know. I don't think so. But just the style that they play, they just play good football, and we don't have that explosive offense to come back. So if we can't play from behind, if we get down, it'll be all. We just can't explode and score 50 points like we could last year.
Right. Yeah. Reggie Torbor, thanks so much for joining us, man. This has been fun.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
sure.
it.
After this, it's time for the Innisfree Trivia Minute. Reed, before we head out to Innisfree, we need to congratulate Rachel Boone. She correctly guessed that Bryant-Denny Stadium, when first erected as just Denny Stadium, held 12,000 people.
Congratulations, Rachel Boone,
good
sister
job,
of
Rachel.
Daniel Boone. That's a true story. And viewers, don't forget, you too can become a trivia winner by correctly answering this week's trivia question and submitting your answer either to the email address or the phone number at the bottom of the screen.
Reed, let's go to Innisfree.
Okay.
I'm Carrie,
And I'm Nick.
and this is your Innisfree Trivia Minute. The question of the week is
What year was the first game played at Jordan-Hare Stadium?
it A, 1938, B, 1939, or C, 1940? Good luck.
And that is all the time we have for this week. We'd like to thank Reggie Torbor for being here with us.
No doubt about it. And don't forget, you can follow the show both on Twitter and on Facebook. Just do a search for the Iron Bowl Hour.
And for the Iron Bowl Hour, I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Roll Eagle, Reed.
War Tide, Will.
Vulcan Park and Museum. Don't miss Diane Birch in concert Sunday, October 23rd during Vulcan Aftertunes. Tickets and info available at visitvulcan.com.
Hi, I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Welcome to the Iron Bowl Hour.
Or as we like to call it, the show that knows that even though Tyrann Mathieu has been suspended, he doesn't care. He'll probably just go eat a cobra or something.
What? What is it? No. He's
The Honey Badger.
Gosh, I'm telling you, yeah.
You haven't seen the Honey Badger. Let's go again.